He mentioned CEOs, coaches, and presidents and managers were calling him after the game as well.
Honestly, he's just got this way. But picking up what Kenny said about the mentality, he doesn't believe, right? That stems back from when we bottled the title. All of this, and I think it was Kenny that said it on a couple of streams back. He said the hardest thing is when you get a team to believe. If you keep finishing runners up,
yeah, he did. Kenny did say that.
Season in, season out, it then becomes a mental thing rather than a tactical thing. And the point of the matter is, and he's bang on right. The point of the matter is because we have now finished runners up and lost leads and crashed out of semi-finals, etc., etc., etc. This man now truly has no idea now what to do and get the belief back in the team to win major tournament. He hasn't. He's lost it. And this is why when it gets to that stage, you then have to think of the football club and think, right, has he run his course? And the answer is yes.
Because so let me ask you this.
What will happen is, sorry, DJ, because what will happen is, and you've played football, what will happen is players will then start to not believe. And then the dressing room gets a bit flat.
And then you need a new voice, unfortunately.
And then players start to show it on the field of play. And that's when the players now start getting criticised because they're not performing. So this is all what happens. This is what happens long term to a football team when the belief has gone and they all then start looking at one another and mistakes start happening. And this is honestly, this is only the start of it for Fred. This is only the start of it. There's going to be a lot more pain this season, I'm telling you.
God forbid. But it leads me to ask you lot, like, obviously it's in the title. One, do you think he's too scared to change? And two, everybody now has seen the press conference and how he's hitting back at the domination comments and talking about phone calls and handbrakes. Do you think he's starting to get a bit cheesed off as well with the questions he's being asked? Bit of two questions in one for both of you.
So I mute myself. Yes, I think he is, because at the end of the day, he doesn't want to be reminded that he's dropped points. He doesn't want to be reminded at Liverpool. Another thing as well, it's something he hasn't been used to. Last season was an eye opener for Mikel, because in 2023 he was told that he exceeded expectations, that he accelerated the process, because it was still a process for a lot of people, not for me. But for him, it was a process. And then in 23-24, he was told he was unlucky. And that was small margins. And that the crowd, the fans believed that they pushed City really, really, really tight. And that had it not been for the excellence of Man City.
You keep saying time is the reason we ain't won trophies. When is it going to be on time?
We would have won the trophy. So he got more praise in defeat than he probably should have. But in 24-25, the problem started. He knows what really happened. People, I'm not mentioning names because it's unfair to them. I've got respect for them as people. I would rather mention them when they're on a podcast. But there are people who will use injuries, especially the volume of injuries, or use refereeing decisions.
It plays a part, but it's a cop-out.
Yeah, but the problem is that for the first time last season, he got questioned. And hence his behaviour, prior to the Man United game, and then he tried to make a joke of it after we drew against Man United. But the problem with Mikel Arteta is that the pressure is on him is unbearable. He's got a massive squad. Some players he probably didn't want. I don't think he wanted Eze. Got no proof, but I just don't think. We had a battle on this podcast, all three of us, when I questioned, well, where's he going to play? Where's his role? And I was told I was pessimistic. Well, we're having a few teething problems.
Even if Eze played left wing at some other clubs, like let's just say Liverpool, for example, we all know his best positions in the 10. You would still see Eze excelling in an attacking sense. It's hard.
You don't know that, but you assume.
No, you do, man. I'm sorry.
I'm not making an excuse for Mikel.
Same way I believe any defender will look good in our team. I'm pessimistic.
I understand where you come from. The situation with Mikel, right, is that questions have been asked. Bert is here. He's buying players. In having a bigger squad, that creates even more pressure because you've got a selection headache. managers like your Peps and Mikkels and maybe your Amarins want smaller squads because that's less people to keep happy. That's managers who talk
You
about
can't manage your
themselves.
team, then you're playing 50 plus games a season.
That's just the fact. And then you've got the situation where the Cronkies are showing more of a presence. The fans are, in unison are saying, "Well, it's this season or bust. We've got to win. We've got to win." Even the believers are being pushed into, and I don't think they want to say it, but they've been pushed into saying, "Yeah, let's give him one more year." I was on a podcast yesterday where I knew deep down two of his biggest supporters don't want to say that, they're going to give him to the end of the season. We pushed him into saying it, but they don't want to do that. But I have to say that because
I wish we weren't in that realm, but reality is we need to get over the line.
Yeah, but the years without success is creeping up, and it's becoming a situation where we experienced 9 years without winning anything under Arsene. And what if we don't win anything next season? We're 2/3 of the way of going for it again. So of course the pressure's on Mick Arteta, but the most important thing as well is that he knows the situation. He's seen that you have to be immaculate to win the league, and we haven't been immaculate. And that is the problem. Every game is a pressure. He's now realised now that a draw, you might as well have a sort of roots and all sort of inquiry into a draw.
Need to start gambling now, man.
Draws are no good to us. Liverpool getting 3 points,
and they're 5 points clear at this moment in time.
After only 5 games.
Yeah, but
making maximum points when they're in first gear. Go on, DJ.
But then going into the City game, he knew his next fixture was Newcastle away, and he knows his record at St James's Park is not very, very good. So that alone should have spurred him on to go and get a victory and pick the right team to go and get 3 points, because potentially we could have been 9 points behind going into the Newcastle game, or we could have been 9 points behind. We could have ended up 9 points behind if we'd have lost at Newcastle. But what I'm trying to say is when you've got all these factors staring you in your face, and then in his press conference, he's comparing it to Bilbao away.
He said nobody asked him about the midfield. They can Bilbao away. He's shameless for that. He's lying.
No, Arteta, we did ask him to line up Bilbao away. We was asking.
I think people scapegoat Mourinho. I don't think he's a DM, but he's lying with that. He is lying.
He's lying with that. And let's be honest, the first 25 minutes against Bilbao away weren't very good. In fact, the whole game wasn't very, very good, to be honest with you.
Our last 2 games have been smash and grab.
Sorry, man.
Our last 2 games have been smash and grab.
Yeah, it's all been it's been smash and grab, but it's really, really frustrating because, as I said, we had it that the reasons why teams sit back against us because they respect us and they're scared of us. But he's known this, so why ain't he changing his tactics? Why ain't he
saw that as a player at Arsenal?
Why ain't he changing his tactics and why ain't he changing his ways to compensate?
So is he scared to change for you, DJ?
Because that's what good managers do, isn't it? That's what managers do. Do you know what I mean? Look against PSG. They come to the Emirates in the league game and we beat them. They come to the Emirates in the semi-final. He'd learnt his lesson and he completely changed the way he played.
Even Pep, when have we seen him be that defensive? I think the City players let Pep down.
You got to remember. Let's put some clarity on the Man City game because I'm sure people forget this. They had Mamouche out. They had Shirky out. Yeah. They had Ake not fully fit coming on, right? They had Stones not fully fit. So come on. You know what I mean? They've got Rodri coming back from a long-term injury.
Unfortunately, we keep talking about the same old things regardless of the game. So there's got to be
something. So this is what I'm saying is, we're all going about, but look at Man City. But listen, if teams have been having a low block against us, this ain't nothing new. This is nothing new to this manager. This manager knows that for a team to come to the Emirates, they're going to sit back, they're going to make it hard, and they're going to make it difficult for us to break down, right? He knows that. And you're telling me that after 2 or 3 years, he still hasn't learned how to deal with a low block?
This is what I'm saying, because I rate Arteta as a coach.
If you had,
so you need to figure this out. None of this is.
If you had a kid going to a school, or if you paid for a child to go to a private school, or whatever school you want to take them to. And they've got a teacher and he's stayed the same in his reading and English, or she has stayed the same in their reading or English.
You want the teacher getting sacked?
And they've had the same teacher for the last 2 years and the levels ain't gone up. Wouldn't you be saying, well, I need another English teacher. He stayed the same.
All your teaching methods have to change, man. So then is he too scared to change or too stubborn to change for you?
If he's not learning by his mistakes, and we are still struggling to break teams down, and now he's going defensive. And as I said to you before, I'm sorry, DG, I've got to say it. We've got defensive midfield players that are not creative enough, so that don't work. Zubimendi is not an upgrade on Partey.
He is, man. You're gonna see.
No. Let's get it right. Zubimendi is not the all singing and dancing player that I thought he was going to be. I've not seen much of him, if I'm fair.
5 games, man. Trust the process.
I'm not going to get onto the players because I always say now,
and that's where I agree.
I'm getting away from players. I can criticise players that have had absolutely nightmares and all of that. Players do.
The tools you're taking to the job.
But on the whole, DG, this ain't down to the players now. This is surely down to the manager now. This is down to the manager. And he's not learning. He hasn't learned. He's trying everything he can now to try and, spin the narrative and take things away from him and mock things in press conferences and pick out little stats that everyone's got to be proud of. Oh, Mikel, you're a genius. Look, Man City's only
all of them are great. Them stats there are great. It shows we're a good team.
But they're not winning.
It's about getting over the line.
The only stat I wanted, DG, was 3 points.
Exactly. That's where we're at now.
Because we've got to go to Newcastle.
We'll get on to Newcastle. So then let me ask you both this as well, DJ, man. Like, is he too scared to change, or naive's not the right word, too reluctant to change? Because clearly he's stuck in his ways, isn't it? Like, clearly. So is he too scared to change, or is he too ignorant to change for you two?
What, against Newcastle?
Just in general now, because do you know what? Because if you didn't know we played City,
to anyone.
You've said this a lot of the time.
If the noise is the handbrake on and everything else, what you got to do is get into Arteta's mind. If there's loads of pressure and people saying around him,